Money can be weird, really weird. Most of us are used to dollars, euros, or yen. But throughout history, people have traded some truly strange things. You won't believe what some cultures have used to buy and sell stuff, from animal pelts to massive stone discs. Let's check out the weirdest currencies, where they came from, and why people thought they were valuable. Animal pelts, 1700s, North America. Let's kick things off with something furry. In the 1700s, North American settlers and indigenous people didn't have a lot of coins or cash, so they traded animal pelts, especially beaver and deer skins. Fur was valuable back then because people used it to make warm clothing. Animal pelts were as good as gold if you wanted food, tools, or supplies. They used squirrel pelts in Finland and Russia for the same reason. Here's a fun fact. The word buck we use for dollars today comes from trading deer pelts, also known as buckskins. So every time you say $5, you're talking about deer skins. Wild, right? Next, let's talk about a currency with teeth. Literally, dolphin teeth. Solomon Islands, ongoing. Yes, you read that right. In the Solomon Islands, people have used dolphin teeth as currency for centuries, which they still do today. These teeth are especially important during marriage ceremonies, where they're used as part of the bride's dowry. The more dolphin teeth a family has, the wealthier they're considered. Here's something crazy. Dolphin teeth become more valuable when currencies like the dollar or euro drop in value. They've been used for so long that their worth doesn't change as much as modern money. How's that for an old-school investment? Let's head to the Netherlands for a money system that bloomed and quickly died. Tulips, 1630s, Netherlands. In the 1630s, tulips in the Netherlands became so valuable that people used them like money. Yes, tulip bulbs were worth so much that people traded them for houses, land, and farms. It sounds wild now, but tulips were seen as rare and beautiful at the time, and everyone wanted them. People were willing to pay a fortune to own one bulb, especially the striped ones. This became one of the world's first economic bubbles. Prices skyrocketed and suddenly crashed. People who had spent everything on tulips lost it all overnight. It's one of the weirdest moments in financial history, all thanks to flowers. Now, let's jump to Canada, where store coupons became so valuable that people treated them like real cash. Canadian Tire Money, 1958, Canada. In 1958, Canadian Tire, a popular retail store in Canada, started giving out coupons that looked like dollar bills. These coupons became known as Canadian Tire Money, and people loved them so much that they started treating them like real money. You could trade them for goods in the store. Even today, some people still accept them in certain places. It's basically like Monopoly money, which became so popular that it became a cultural symbol. Even though most things have gone digital now, Canadian Tire Money is still a big deal for many Canadians. People even collect it for fun. Now, let's head to the Pacific Islands, where people once traded massive stones as money. Yes, stones, early 1500s. Yap Island. In the early 1500s, people used giant stone discs as currency on Yap Island in Micronesia. These stones, called rai, were so big and heavy that some were over 12 feet wide. Since they were too large to carry around, people left them in one place and agreed on who owned which stone. Even though the rocks never moved, everyone knew who they belonged to and could be traded for land or other goods. It was a system based on trust, and these stones were super valuable because they were so hard to make and transport. Imagine using a boulder as your bank account. Now, let's travel back to ancient Rome, where salt was worth its weight in gold. Salt, ancient Rome, 500 BC. Salt wasn't just something you sprinkled on your food in ancient Rome. It was so valuable that it was used as currency. Roman soldiers were sometimes paid in salt, and that's where the word salary comes from. Salt was essential for preserving food, so it was a crucial resource. People traded it like gold, one of the most sought-after goods of its time. Salt was valuable because, without it, people couldn't store food for long periods, which made it a necessity for survival. Imagine being paid in salt for your job today. Next, we're off to Papua New Guinea, where beautiful seashells were once worth a fortune. Shell money. Papua New Guinea, 1900s. In the 1900s, on the islands of Papua New Guinea, people didn't have paper money. They used shell necklaces instead. These special shells were collected, cleaned, and strung together to make beautiful necklaces that could be traded for land, food, or other goods. The more elaborate the necklace, the more valuable it was. Even today, in some parts of Papua New Guinea, people still use shell money for important ceremonies like weddings. It's a great example of how something from nature can be turned into currency. Now, let's talk about a currency that's as glamorous as it sounds. Gold dust, 13th century West Africa. In the 13th century, gold dust was money in West Africa. People didn't just trade gold bars, they used tiny amounts of gold dust to pay for things. Merchants carried little scales with them to measure out just the right amount of dust for each trade. Gold dust was so valuable that it was used to buy anything from food to clothes, and even enslaved people. The region was rich in gold, and the dust was easy to carry, making it the perfect form of currency. Imagine paying for your groceries today with a sprinkle of gold dust. Now, head to West Africa for a currency made of kitchen tools. Bafia potato mashers, 1800s, West Africa. In the 1800s, in the Bafia culture of West Africa, people didn't just use money. They traded potato mashers. Yes, the kind of tool you'd use to mash potatoes. These mashers were made of wood and were so important that you could even trade them for big things like land or, get this, a wife. If you had 30 potato mashers, you were all set to get married. But that's not all. At one point, even potatoes were used as currency for smaller trades. Imagine going to a market with a sack of potatoes to buy clothes or food. It's one of the strangest currencies ever used. Lastly, let's wrap up with a currency from World War II that could light up your day. Cigarettes, World War II, 1940s. During World War II, especially in prisoner of war camps, cigarettes became more valuable than cash. Soldiers and prisoners used cigarettes as currency, trading them for food, clothes, or favors. One cigarette could get you a meal. If you had a pack, you were in good shape. Cigarettes were perfect for trading because they were small, portable, and always in demand. Even after the war, this cigarette-based currency continued in some places, showing how necessity can turn something simple into valuable currency. And that's it. 10 of the weirdest, most unhinged currencies ever used worldwide. People have found value in some pretty strange things, from animal pelts to dolphin teeth and even cigarettes. Which one blew your mind the most? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more strange and fascinating facts.